Happy Star Wars Day, everybody.
May the 4th be with you.
And with that comes the new Star Wars series, The Bad Batch.
Yeah, looking forward to animation. That's what we have. And seeing what's up with this crazy crew directly from the Clone Wars. So let's roll right into that. Welcome back, TVO viewers. We are here, Bad Batch. Before we get into talking about it, what do we need to do?
Probably want to hit that like button.
Yes. Don't forget to subscribe and definitely ring that bell.
Roger, Roger.
Well, here we go. We got the new series, The Bad Batch.
Mhm.
Something completely different from Star Wars show. Not what I was expecting, but
Yeah.
it was a long episode.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it was animation, of course. If everybody's watching along, enhancing the Clone Wars era stuff, and really not the Clone Wars era stuff because it's the aftermath as we saw after Order 66.
What was your general feeling on it? Did you feel like it had that Clone Wars feel to the cartoon, or was it a little more gritty?
It's a little more gritty. I mean, we got into it. They were chasing or helping out with some battle droids to kill them on the one planet there, and then all of a sudden the Order 66 came through.
Yeah.
And it almost felt like it turned uh, almost kind of the regular, the first era Star Wars, like with your kind of dark periods. That it felt dark,
That Revenge of the Sith
Yeah,
kind
the
of
kind
feel
of
like
end
that.
point rolling into your Star Wars and the Rogue Ones type things where it's
A little grittier and like more of a war movie
Mhm.
or show type thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we also got to see at the beginning there too, Caleb Doom,
Yeah.
Kanan Jarrus as
Super
a kid.
cool. Yeah.
Off-putting as we were talking when we saw it. The voice didn't quite suit him being a kid. They obviously got Freddie Prinze Jr. to voice him again, but most kids don't sound like a 40-year-old adult.
Yeah, it's hard to get your voice a little higher there.
It was a little off-putting. It was like this doesn't really work, but it was cool seeing his backstory as a Padawan and what kind of happened.
Yeah, I definitely I like that. It kind of enhances the story. That Order 66 stuff for me is super cool because I find you get into it and you get that kind of another side of a story, right? Everybody saw Revenge of the Sith, one of my favorite movies of the Star Wars saga, really, and you kind of get another side of it. We just saw clips of all the clones turning on the Jedi, and you kind of got a little bit more to it. I I thought it was kind of cool. I mean, the Bad Batch is a different group, rogue group almost.
You get to see the fallout from the Order. Like obviously the Bad Batch, for the most part, none of them were their chips weren't working and whatever else because they're genetic misfires basically.
Well, yeah.
But you kind of got to see the backlash of like Order 66. They're questioning what happened. Uh, why are these guys attacking the Jedi? And
Yeah.
you got to see a kind of a little different side of the story that way. It was kind of neat to see a clone's perspective on what was happening and them questioning orders and
Yeah, exactly.
not that they did like to seem to question everything,
Oh
but
yeah. Well, and seeing that some sort of residuals or chip input for Crosshair,
yeah,
it kind of stuck, right? He was questioning, we shouldn't be disobeying orders. We should be carrying on. He's questioning Hunter, right? And yeah, I mean, I think that's kind of a neat. Honestly, I didn't expect that when I watched the
for what we saw from the trailers, we didn't really see
Yeah.
that side of it coming.
No, and in the previous episodes where you got introduced to the Bad Batch, they're a team. They work together, and then all of a sudden, one of their members is, hey,
Questioning the
what's
leadership
going on?
and
Yeah.
questioning what they're doing, and then they reinforced the chip.
Mm-hmm.
But I foresee kind of a back door there for later on in the episodes. The Kaminoans maybe opening that up and being able to reverse that whole process because they're wanting to see what's going on here too because they don't trust the Empire.
No, I mean, and How about seeing Moff Tarkin, Grand Moff Tarkin there?
Yeah,
Uh,
and being played or portrayed. I guess I shouldn't say being played because animation, but being portrayed very much like he's always been in the movies,
yeah,
and the voice work was done well.
yeah, and I think he's a great villain. Like from the original Star Wars and New Hope, he's awesome. Peter Cushing in that role, and then even when they superimposed him into Rogue One, and it was great to see him again, and then even throughout the Clone Wars movie or the Rebels, sorry, when you see a lot of Tarkin in the Clone Wars, he's great as well,
Yeah.
and I think he's such a good villain, and to be able to explore him further and flesh out just kind of how diabolical he is, and how he's a servant of the Empire.
Very much so. It's clear cut and like he's very cold.
Mhm.
It's just he's very much a military person,
Yeah.
and his orders and his thought process is just very one vision.
Oh yeah, yeah. There's no deviation with him.
No.
It's like I'm not gonna stray from being loyal to the Emperor and the Empire, and I that's what makes a good villain, right? There's no turning this guy.
Yeah, I still wonder if he does have some of his own motivations. Like even when we saw in was it Rogue One, when he took credit for Krennic's,
Yeah.
for the Death Star. And
I mean, my take is he always wants to be in the good books of the Emperor, and have that absolute power for himself to not get questioned what he does, right? Because I mean, what did the Emperor put him in charge of the Death Star?
Yeah,
And he's like, you're running this guy, like it's almost like the Emperor trusted Tarkin more than he trusted Vader. Like it sure seems like
I would say that's
Yeah.
given. I would
Yeah.
assume because like just the way the Sith operated,
yeah,
the Sith always knew that their apprentices were going to try and
Yeah.
take them over. So yeah, I'm sure Tarkin was his most trusted person, or one of the most trusted.
well,
person.
him and Thrawn,
Yeah.
I mean, would be the two guys I think and two great kind of like right below the top guy, and guys that are not good guys, and these fit the story well. So I'm curious with the Bad Batch situation. We got the new sidekick in there, our new group member, and Omega.
Who happens to be another clone.
Yeah,
One of the
yeah.
misfires.
Yeah, so interesting, a female clone version. So what did you think of that?
I honestly didn't think it was a clone at first. I wasn't sure
Yeah,
what I knew obviously that they were going to build up this character. It wasn't there for no reason,
Mhm.
but I didn't see it becoming a clone. One of the
No.
basically one of the Bad Batch, one of the misfires.
Yeah.
But I don't mind it. I actually like the direction they're going, and at the end, we've seen that obviously that Omega has been programmed in certain ways because she was able to fire weapons
That's
and
right.
accurately
Oh,
without
yeah.
any training, never fired any before.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's going to be interesting where that character goes to.
Oh, for sure. And will she age up like the other clones? Or just a natural progression like say a Boba Fett, unaltered.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah, if it's,
Yeah.
but I'm guessing that if obviously, I think Boba Fett was the only unaltered
I
clone.
believe
So,
so. Yeah.
but I don't know if they have a certain way of enhancing them and to make them grow faster, or like if that's
Yeah.
that's a feed, like if they feed them a certain way or what it is, but how they enhance them and make them grow faster.
Yeah.
But I'm assuming that it wasn't unaltered,
Yeah.
obviously, because it's a female too. So
yeah.
something happened there.
Oh, exactly. Something that struck me is when we were watching what I found interesting, and I may have never really put some thought into it, but what happened? I mean, that to all the clones, they replaced them with actual, and you see Tarkin talking about it.
Low budget.
Yeah,
low budget.
low budget, just bad shooting stormtroopers.
You can't hit the broadside of a barn.
Well, yeah, and it's funny that the Kaminoans were like, oh, our clones are superior, and it's obvious they are, but yet the Empire is cutting corners. There's cost savings across the board.
And it cost them in the end.
It did. Maybe they should have kept the clones.
That is actually pretty funny.
But it's interesting to think, what happens to them, all these clones. Then like obviously Tarkin doesn't like them, and right now they're helping him. And so, from us seeing Revenge of the Sith and all the way up until A New Hope, well, even we get Rogue One just before A New Hope and now, but we see regular stormtroopers.
So yeah, that's a fairly short period of time. for
Well-
all these clone troopers to be phased out. So I'm
So
wondering.
19 years, right?
I'm wondering if something happens here.
Yeah.
If they're
During this Bad Batch stuff?
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm wondering if that's part of what the arc is going to be, how they get rid of the clones,
Yeah.
or if they just disband them and they become nothing and just disperse throughout the galaxy,
Decommission
or if they're permanently decommissioned.
Well, and maybe what did the chips do? Could you instant kill them?
Well, I'm assuming they could probably do anything.
Termination, right? Yeah, just-
so
And that's
I could see Tarkin doing something like this.
Yeah.
There'll be a dark turn maybe.
But let's think about it. You have to build up an army, so you have to start recruitment,
Mhm.
right? And I'm sure there's some people who already have done somewhat out of that, I imagine. But yeah, it's an interesting thought. What's going to happen with all the clones? But so from that point, we are basically just ending at the end of Revenge of the Sith when Order 66 came in. So that's where Bad Batch has taken place. That's 19 years before Rogue One / A New Hope.
Yeah.
So that's some period of time to dissolve that.
To dissolve that and build up the other army, and
Yeah.
I'm not sure how the time period this is going to stretch out to. If this is going to be just a short
Yeah.
story, or if there's going to be multiple seasons of this. So we'll have to see where they go with it.
Well, yeah, I mean, with animation, there's endless possibilities to flesh out stories and keep using characters, which is cool. So the end point, if we're kind of jumping ahead to the end, they're going to J19. Now, some possibilities of who they're meeting up.
Yeah, we discussed that maybe we were just guessing, throwing out names and stuff, possibly Rex or
Cut.
yeah.
Yeah, and Cut was a deserter back in season 2. So Rex was supposed to turn him in, didn't. Now Cut just basically has been living as a farmer with a family. So that's a possibility. One of those two.
Or maybe it's right off the board too, and it's not one of them.
Yeah, it could be somebody completely different, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and we were talking about Rex, and does he have his chip out? Is he, he's obviously we see him later on, with
in
Rebels,
yeah.
with Ahsoka and all them and stuff, right? So he's helping them. So something must have happened.
And he's already with a couple other clones at that point too, and they all have. I think they had their chips out at that point.
I'm pretty sure they did. And you had mentioned that about Cody, right? So
yeah, and yeah, is he going to play a part in this series at all? Because we know further down the road, rumor is that he's going to be in the Obi-Wan movie or series, and so. Where does he play some part in this? Yeah. Who knows who we're gonna see here yet?
Yeah. No, it's but first episode not too bad.
Yeah, I didn't have big expectations and high expectations for the series, but so far so good. It's like a little more of a gritty series, and I actually like that. It's not necessarily the same old. You're not fed the same kind of a flavor. I'm actually interested to see where it goes and how it fleshes out. Find out where they're going to go with the series, I guess.
Yeah, and like I said, episode 2 will be dropping this Friday.
Yeah, so we'll be there for that too.
Yeah.
Okay, so the first episode of The Bad Batch is in the books, and next week, or I guess it's not even next week, on this Friday.
Yeah.
Episode 2, a lot shorter.
Yeah.
I think they're going a half hour.
I think so. That's what I've heard. 13 episode season. That's what I've heard. Hopefully this. I mean, it's just, and just flesh more of the story out. See where we're going here.
Yeah, we'll be there for every episode, and then hopefully you guys will chime in. Let's see what your thoughts are on the series. Where you think everything's going to go. Your theories on who might show up, where they're going to lead to.
How long, what the timeline is going to be. So yeah, leave your comments and questions down below. And as always, thanks for watching us at the Blazing Overture, and we will see you later.